Over. Hey, how's everyone doing tonight?
Hi.
Okay, I'm Steve.
This is Kia.
And welcome to On The Ring Apron. That way I can edit out that beginning portion. For those of you who are watching this on YouTube later on, we had a bit of a technological malfunction.
Difficulty.
So forgive us, but we've managed to fit through it, so that way we can try out our new equipment here.
We don't have that screen that says technical difficulty. Sorry. If we did, we'd use it.
We have the little sign that has the cat hanging from the clothesline or whatever it is that used to be on the TV.
What is with you and cats? And I guess.
Well, I've never seen a dog hanging from one.
All right, bias, whatever. Let's keep going with it.
This is what we bring to the table. But, as we said, it was a very exciting week in the terms of WWE.
Mm-hmm.
A bit of sadness in there as well.
Yeah.
We're going to have plenty to talk about here. But, let's go ahead and let's take care of a couple of important facts that we wanted to make sure that we went over. First of all, a happy birthday to the leader of the Yes Movement, Daniel Bryan. Kind of sad that we didn't get to see him on Smackdown tonight, but he's waiting in the wings for his opponent. We'll be talking about who he'll be facing in the semifinals of the Intercontinental Tournament title tournament a little bit later here.
If it was me, I'd be celebrating my birthday, so I wouldn't show up either.
Yeah, well, he's got other things to do. Plus, baby on the way, baby and a niece, I guess. So
yeah,
little bit of business getting ready here. A bunch of more little baby Bryans and baby Bellas crawling around the house. Ugh.
Oh dear.
We got one of our own. No more.
Okay.
But first of all, we wouldn't be able to begin this week without going ahead and expressing our sincerest condolences to news, of course, that's been going around WWE, and that is the passing of Shad Gaspard, a former member of Crime Time during the later part of the Attitude Era of WWE.
Yeah.
Of course, story, being told he got pulled out into the waters. Him and his son, as well as several others, getting pulled out by Riptide. Coast Guard coming out to assist. He says, "Save my son," 10-year-old son out there swimming. Coast Guard goes to save him. When they come back for Shad, he was gone. Unfortunately, his prayers and whatnot were sent out from the entire WWE universe, and myself included.
And me.
But unfortunately, the prayers, God needed a new person and a new angel in heaven. As Shad's body ended up washing up a couple of days later, and he passed on.
That is so sad, and the fact that it was confirmed the way it was, I'd be devastated if I was the son and the wife, and obviously our prayers go out to them too.
Right.
In this moment of, I guess, grieving.
Right. Our sincerest condolences to his family. Again, as we've said before, we don't know if they'll ever see this or not, but WWE doing a fantastic job making sure that they put up the usual things about the passing. Everyone that seemingly knew him liked him. You never really heard a negative thing about him. He was a workhorse. But at the end of the day, it wasn't him being a wrestler that really got to me. It was how he put himself in the line of danger for what was right. There's documented stories about him stepping in front of gunmen and him chasing down people who were committing robberies throughout his life. And then for him to give basically the ultimate sacrifice for his son, there's just continues to prove there's no greater love
than a father.
Than a parent to their child. It's not just a father-son thing. I think any parent would be willing to lay down their life for their child, and he literally did that.
But in that moment, he could have done the exact opposite. But the fact that he didn't. It's pretty much, I feel like he was saying, I've already lived my life. I feel like my son, this is his chance. And with that being said, again, you understand the sacrifices of being a father. You've had to sacrifice a lot, and you have two sons. So, you understand where, that came from.
Well, ultimately, God forbid, we get put in a position where, I get put in a position to have to make that decision. But if and when that time does happen, I feel without any doubt in my mind that I would make the exact same decision that Shad would. He gave up his life so that way his son could have his. Only 10 years old, still has, his entire future in front of him.
Yeah, exactly.
And he did what any father, I feel, would do in that circumstance. So, we wish his family, you'll never fully recover from it. We understand that, but we wish that, you're able to, take the life that he gave to, his wife and to his son, and then live it to the fullest because that's what he would wanted. And then from the WWE Universe and from everybody that was participating in giving their, their heartfelt wishes. It's, something that we love to see. Just because he's been gone for a while did not mean he was not part of that WWE family. And so I know he's already missed.
I know I saw some from The Rock. I saw some from Roman Reigns. I think I saw one from Triple H, if I remember seeing correctly. I just know that people have, said their piece upon a good person. Again, like you said, it was nothing negative said about him at all. So with that being said, I'm just, again, condolences to the family, to the wife, and to the son, to everyone who has lost him.
Right. So, we wish them, a very, speedy, recovery through this process and being able to live life to the fullest. But anyway, you guys don't come up here to watch us to, go over sad things. These are things that happen. They're unfortunate. They're part of the process. But let's start talking about things that are a little bit more on the fun side in terms of what we've been going through. So let's start with Raw.
I would start with Raw. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, the big story, of course, coming out. First of all, they have set up two big matches that are getting ready to come up here soon. Of course, Raw starting off this week for what is going to be considered the greatest wrestling match ever in a singles match between Edge and Randy Orton. The build-up, especially with that now being the tagline for Backlash, I don't know necessarily about the greatest wrestling match ever, but, they're trying to set up for something. Maybe they'll live up to the hype.
We'll have to wait and see. I know we can't sit here and doubt, that it's going to be the greatest match. I've seen a lot of great matches over the last decade, but let's see, can, the Viper versus the Radar Superstar actually live up to what they're putting out there?
Exactly. It'll be Edge's first time in a wrestling ring in over 9 years in a singles match. And Orton did a very good job of, playing the heel role and portraying the idea that it would be, Edge has been able to be in a Royal Rumble where there's a lot of other people. And then a last man standing match, in which case, you have no disqualifications, you have no outside, basically there are no rules. But now you're set to where you're confined within the setup of a standard singles match. And so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Also officially brought into play by WWE earlier today, in fact. Drew McIntyre is going to defend the WWE Championship at Backlash against the almighty Bobby Lashley.
I am already going to tell you, I am looking forward to the match, but I already know the Scotsman's going to win, so yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
Well, there you go. You can skip half of Top Rope spoilers, at least that pick now. But, I said last week on the show, and I've been saying it for a while now, I'm finally glad that they're getting ready to build Lashley up. I'm not necessarily saying I'm picking him, but it's nice to see that a guy who has main event caliber written all over, because he's been at the top level, but yet MVP's done a great job of setting up this line of, like, when was the last time you went for a title? You're too busy trying to date white women. You're too busy trying to marry white women. You're too busy trying to, be funny for the crowd instead of doing what you do best, and that is being a dominant performer, and not just a dominant performer, but a dominant champion.
My thing with that is, and I feel some type of way, and I'm kind of glad you brought it up. Yes, I agree with MVP's points, but the way he kind of put it out there, I think it was kind of, are you kidding me right now? I feel like, here's my perspective. Honestly, and with it being said, Leo Rush would have done a better job putting it out there and being nice about it.
Well,
and I know
Leo got his own worries right now.
I know he's not here, and as much as I said he was annoying at the time and I really couldn't get behind his character, right now I don't think MVP is a good mouthpiece for Bobby Lashley.
Now see, I'm on the completely opposite end of that. I believe that MVP is the perfect person to represent a guy like Lashley, who has been proven that he's not necessarily the best on the mic, and that's why you need a mouthpiece. There were a lot of people for a long time that said that Asuka needed one, and basically, she found a way to get by it without needing to do anything. And speaking of Asuka, it sounds like she's also got her next challenger set up for next week's Raw. Asuka, in a bit of a backstage, shenanigans with herself, Kairi Sane, and Nia Jax.
Yep.
Right now, Asuka getting the one-up over Nia at the moment. But they announced tonight on Smackdown a triple threat next week. It will be Nia Jax, it will be Natalya, and it will be, for some reason, the NXT champion Charlotte Flair in a triple threat, with the winner getting Asuka at Backlash.
Here's my thing with that. You have Charlotte, the Queen, who's pulling triple duty across the board.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion,
hardest working woman in sports right now.
In my opinion, she's pulling triple duty for all three brands. Who better than to do it? And as much as I have said, I'd like to see other people as a Flair, she's going to get the opportunity. But at the same time, she has not just the mouth to back it up. She has the fight to back it up. So if it's going to go to anybody, I'm going to say it's going to be her. Now, does that mean my opinion won't change? Of course, it's going to change day to day, but I'm just stating.
Well, I think they've done a good job of setting up Nia as the person who's going to be, set up there. And especially with Charlotte having her match tonight with Bayley, it's it's interesting again that she's pulling triple duty, essentially appearing on all 3 shows. She obviously got her we're going to get to it in a little bit, but her challenger or challengers, hint hint, for her NXT championship. But Charlotte getting into the match, but I have to imagine that this is not going to end up going to Charlotte because you've got already the setup with Nia Jax being the person that's going to be the thorn. Also, with it being a triple threat match, that of course means no disqualifications. So, I can't imagine this ends without somebody coming out and interfering. But, I mean, it all seems like it's pointing towards Nia.
I hope, and here's what I say, as much as I love Becky, and you know how much I love her, I think she is, honestly the best. I feel like, again, you're putting Nia in a match with another horsewoman. And the last time she got flack for punching Becky in the nose, and that was the biggest highlight of her career. But at the same time, how do you think it'll play out to her being the dominant one? How do you think it's going to play out to her advantage of being in the match with Charlotte and being in the match with, I lost my train of thought. Being in the match, who was the other person? Natalya.
See, that tells you right now why Natalya does not need to be in this match, because we're basically sitting here and, can't even remember who the third person is. That tells you right there that they are treating Natalya like a complete afterthought in this match. Especially it's like it puzzles me because, just real quickly before we move to NXT, why is Natalya getting this match after she has suffered back-to-back losses to Shayna Baszler over the last 2 weeks? Natalya, why is she in this match?
Again, I mean, I get it. She has been able to put over different people that have come in. It's kind of been her job. It has been, I guess, her lot in the WWE to put these different people over, to put, the people that come in over, to help them out, to get them prepared, to go on, to, I guess, in a way, to surpass her. But honestly, like you said, my opinion, and as much as I know I'm going to be alone, maybe 1 or 2 people will stand with me, I feel like with that, Shayna should be put in this match with Charlotte and with Nia, because she's already proven as a cage fighter, as, she is a very dominant person, and the fact that you don't put her in it, why is she on the sidelines?
We gonna get a spade for the camera? We gonna get one?
Yep.
That'll work.
Why is she not in the match? I'm just saying. That's just...
Well, to me, it just puzzles me why Natalya gets in this match. Not so much necessarily that Shayna wasn't deserving, but why is Natalya in after suffering back-to-back losses, and now all of a sudden she gets in a number 1 contenders match? But Shayna... And then you look at the rest of the roster. You've still got Liv Morgan. You've still got Ruby Riott. You've still got Bianca Belair, who has yet to lose since coming to Raw. Where are they? Why are they not being used in some way? I'm sorry. This match makes no sense except for Nia. Nia's the only one out of the 3 that makes any sense.
To me, that's the only way it could go.
We could sit here and I could argue 25 minutes on this alone, but we've got other shows to get to. But we do need one more thing from Raw. There's a saying that goes, when one door shuts, another one opens. Or someone opens a window, depending upon how you look at it. And that would be the case for Mr. Austin Theory. Austin Theory had a door slammed right on in his face by Zelina Vega and her group as he gets booted from Vega's group of folks, but very quickly finds himself in the dark hands of the Monday Night Messiah in Seth Rollins, and he quickly capitalized.
What is it? The gloved one is what we're calling him now?
Just the dark hand. I don't have the gloves. You have to work with me here.
But here's my thing with that. I feel like if he would have kept his mouth shut and did what he was supposed to and fall in line and do what Zelina has asked of him, it wouldn't have been a problem. My saying
I'll do what Zelina says.
Of course she will. When she says something, you do it. How do you think Andrade got where he was? How do you think Garza got where he is? They listened. They took the time. They followed her. They did what she said. Again, Austin ran his mouth and has nodded. I'm going to catch a flag at some point for that. That's fine.
Well, he's young.
He's young.
He's 22, and we talked about how he went in a period of 2 weeks. He went from NXT. Basically mid-card at best in NXT to now a championship match at WrestleMania because of just circumstances that played into his favor. But again, at 22, that's awfully young to be just thrust into the WrestleMania position. They played it off as if the moment was just too big for him. He couldn't handle it. But we've seen what Seth can do with Buddy and with AOP, and now he's got the raw, untapped potential of Austin Theory now in his hands as well.
But let's go back even further with Seth. This is not the first time Seth has taken people and has skyrocketed their career to what he wanted them to be. He did it with the Shield.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the Shield. But going and saying, like you said, that door closed, and I said they kicked him out that window. I'm going to call it a window. And Seth took it upon himself to do what he's, best for, and that's to get him to come to the dark side, more or less, Star Wars reference, and actually work with him. I want to see how that plays out. I want to see how that goes, and how is that going to work? And is Buddy Murphy going to be jealous? And what are you thinking?
It doesn't appear like it because Austin helped him. Now, I like the Star Wars reference, especially with all the story of Seth and Becky and whatnot. Is he your father? I could totally see a beautiful setup, trademarked. We do not own that. George Lucas, please don't sue us. But anyway, Raw is definitely setting itself up, and that's something we've been saying for a while. That Raw, for a long time, seemed to have virtually no storylines, and now they've got about 4 or 5 that are actually really, really good right now. I'm not saying it's the best Raws they've ever been putting out, but it's sure as heck a lot better than what they were doing pre-WrestleMania.
But I feel like right now, and I've said it again. I've said it in this, in this show right here. Seth, in my opinion, has carried Raw before, and I think he's gonna have to do it again. But now he's got the help of Drew, if Drew is still a member on Raw, which I believe he is. Now he's got Drew, he's got Austin Theory, they've got Buddy Murphy. At some point, AOP will come back. Then they have the women's storyline. I'm just saying, if you could do that with the men, do it with the women. Don't put the women on the back burner.
Can we say it like Selena? Drew? It's Drew.
You're a thorn.
Yeah, thorn in my ass.
Uh-huh.
Beep. But anyway, so, as we said, Raw is building storylines, but one show that, consistently never needs to build any great stories because they're just fantastic as is, of course, is NXT. NXT.
And we know why they're so great, don't we?
Because they're just the best. I mean, Triple H continuing to put the match out there. But as they're setting up for their pay-per-view in your house, which comes to us June 7th, week before Backlash, so they actually have storylines that need to kind of put themselves together a little bit quicker. And I think they're doing a fantastic job of that up till now. First of all, you had the matchup everyone was waiting for between Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley, with the idea being that the winner would likely be Charlotte Flair's next contender. As we kind of predicted right here on the show, go back and watch last week, shenanigans, Charlotte comes out, lays out both of them, and now, as we announced earlier today, it'll now be a triple threat match, Charlotte having to defend against both Rhea and Io. She already has proven she can beat both, albeit Io with a little bit of disqualification on her health. But now she's got to face both of them, but there now will be no disqualification.
But here's what happens. And we said it was said before by Bianca, you don't go here. But now she's holding that title. She does go there, and Bianca's going to Raw. But in my saying that, I hope Rhea and Io will do what they usually do and say, we've been here, we're NXT, she's just holding a title that really doesn't belong to her. We need to take her out. We need to join up, take her out, and kind of move on. That way we can fight each other.
Well, that's the idea, is that they want, the fans obviously want the NXT Championship back on just its show with a person from their show.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Because they've made it perfectly clear that Charlotte is still a member of Monday Night Raw, despite holding the NXT Championship. So, they want an NXT person back. The problem is, though, I don't think Io or Rhea care, about, necessarily having the title back on NXT. They're right now both in the same mindset, and that is they want to be the one that dethrones Charlotte. Rhea for obvious reasons, Io because it's her dream to not only face Charlotte, but to beat her, and the way that her dream match finally went down with a disqualification, she wasn't thrilled about that, wasn't thrilled about Rhea jumping in.
Would you be thrilled about that? If I was
it depends on who's hitting me with the stick.
If I'm hitting you with the stick, I jump in your business and I try to take over.
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Who wants to see that, by the way? If we get enough followers, is she gonna, maybe we should do that for like the 200 follower, deal. You can hit me with a kendo stick. Oh God, it's gonna go through the roof tonight, isn't it?
I don't know.
Or did I just set myself up?
Either way, but like I was saying, with that being said, I don't, like you said, I feel as long as that title comes back home, then that's great.
Well, and we had a person that was on social media, and I'm curious to see what you guys think about this, setting up the possibility that Charlotte, holding the NXT Championship and then getting put into title matches for Raw, possibly getting title matches later for SmackDown. Is there any opportunity potentially that Charlotte becomes like Charlotte 2 belts or even potentially Charlotte 3 belts, where it's possible that they may run a story where Charlotte holds all 3 titles at once? What do you guys think?
Okay, well, I don't know what they think, but I would love to hear. Here's what I think. Nobody can hold, compared to Becky, 2 belts. I'm just saying. I don't care.
Well, Becky may have to be the one who has to come back in and save everybody.
The man will collect when she is ready.
The debts always get collected.
But my thing with that is, I don't. If you're gonna hold a title, hold one title and let NXT the women hold that title. Don't take them all, and then. I'm not gonna say you're not gonna be a fighting champion because I've seen it over the last couple of weeks with you. I'm just saying NXT's title for the women need to go back home. You have like Mia and you have Io and you have all those.
It's interesting that you bring up Mia because that's actually where we're heading next. The dinner with the Garganos, which for the record, I would love to have dinner with the Garganos. They essentially have 2 more matches that probably are going to rear their heads at In Your House. Candice LeRae coming out after Mia Yim's win over Santana Garrett and managing to come out and attack Mia only for her in real life boyfriend Keith Lee, the North American champion, to come out and make the save. It's either leading to a tag team match or it's going to lead to 2 individual singles matches. That's more where I'm leaning, which would give Johnny Gargano a chance to potentially win back the North American Championship. And and he's a credible threat.
Have we seen what he's done over the last couple of months to Ciampa? Yeah, that to me, again, he is a threat. He's a cute threat, but nonetheless, he is a threat.
A married cute threat.
Oh, I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to hear it because I know how you are.
And then also, speaking of Ciampa, he getting his match at In Your House officially announced. He will be the first pay-per-view challenger or takeover challenger, at least for the new incoming Karrion Kross. Two bald badasses.
My money's on Ciampa. I'm sorry. I know it may seem like I'm giving away all my picks.
Yeah, she's spoiling all of the top rope spoilers. Hey, but hey, it's part of the name, right?
But hey, it could change up. Either way, I want to see that match. I like nobody's business. That's going to be a great one, as well as the Keith Lee and the Johnny Gargano, as well as the Mia versus the pint-sized poison pixie. Did I get it correct?
There's no pixie anymore.
Oh, man, I love that.
Pint-sized poison now.
Oh, well, either way, I want to see those matches happen.
And then it looks like the storyline with Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole appears to possibly not be done. This week it was Dream needing to come out to help Dexter Lumis from an attack by the Undisputed Era. You could possibly see Lumis get a match with 1 or maybe even 2 members of UE, and then it looks like Dream is going to get 1 more shot at Cole's title, or it may very well be Dream and Lumis at the same time. So we'll see how it goes. They still have a couple more weeks. So then we move to SmackDown tonight. Of course, the big match going into tonight were the 2 Intercontinental title first-round matches. You get first a WrestleMania rematch with the newly traded AJ Styles, who is now a full-fledged member of the house where he built it, SmackDown Live.
Hey!
He goes over Shinsuke Nakamura in a WrestleMania 34 rematch. Same result as then.
I want to hear how everybody feels, mainly Haley and Savannah, because one loves AJ and one loves Shin, so I want to hear that. But with that being said...
So they end up, having AJ go over, so that means AJ Styles moves into the semifinals. He will face Elias next week. On the flip side, you had the birthday boy Daniel Bryan awaiting for his winner in what ended up being the main event, Jeff Hardy versus the Celtic Warrior Sheamus. It's Jeff Hardy, as expected, going over. They've been fanfaring and building him up for 6 weeks. You knew he was going to go over at least once.
On the shirt? I came ready. My boy Jeff. Just saying.
I'm not sure that they're going to necessarily rush to put a title on him right now, but it was very clear with the hype and the build-up, and then him drawing Sheamus in the first round somehow miraculously. You knew Hardy was going to go over in that match, albeit, with a roll-up pin.
Hey, do it.
But, he gets the job done. Hey, by...
Get it how you live it, and he got it.
Hook or crook, get yourself through. All that matters is winning.
Yep.
And speaking of all that matters being win, also tonight on SmackDown, the champion versus champion match. It seems like we just keep talking about Charlotte, but when you're pulling triple duty, your name's going to come up a lot. Hey, hardest working woman in the business. Woo! But she went one-on-one with SmackDown champion Bayley. Bayley, very surprising, asking Sasha to stay in the back.
And I was kind of disappointed only because she was slain and we didn't get to see the whole entire outfit. We saw the top, the hair, and the nails.
Well, you know, she can afford it now with all those cameos she's been doing this week. Have you guys been seeing this?
The prices.
$400 for a 30-second to 1 minute cameo. Now, don't get me wrong, I had my card in my hand, you know, and I thought about it. I didn't pull the trigger though, and now she's sold out. Of course, all the money going to charity. Let me make sure that, you know, we're not jesting about that.
I told you.
You told me to buy it while it was cheap, and I didn't. I mean, $200, you know, that's not cheap for everyone. You know, it's really not cheap for us. But I mean, come on, it's Sasha Banks, the Blueprint, the boss. Hey, Ryu eats expensive food. You gotta eat. But either way, despite the fact that Sasha Banks was asked to stay in the back, Bayley, albeit, you know, with a little bit of you know, hook and crook, as we said earlier, actually getting the win over Charlotte Flair, surprisingly clean. So, you know, another win for Bayley. It seems like she's the thorn that's consistently in Charlotte's side.
But with that being said, in case, let's kind of do a little backtrack. How do you think Sasha felt? You saw, she said one thing, but looking at the face and looking at the expression, and you know, besides Alexa and The Miz, she can pull the best faces out of thin air. How do you think she felt?
Well, I mean, I think she's having to, you know, play the role of, you know, you asked me to stay in the back, I'm your best friend, I'm going to support you. Because if you come out, then you're basically saying, I didn't think you could win without my help. And whether she did or not, the fact is Bayley did beat Charlotte Flair tonight without Sasha providing any interference at all. Whether it was done in a heel way or not, it does mean something for the, you know, greatest women's champion we have right now, and that is Bayley.
I'm not a sheep, but I've told you time and time again, I love heels. Now, when Bayley was a hugger, I wasn't really feeling that, but ever since she went dark, changed everything, thin clothes, hair, I've been behind her. And in my opinion, if you can't be a heel and pull some heel moves, what are you doing?
That's it. And, you know, and Bayley's done a fantastic job of it. I'm actually surprised they didn't make a bigger deal about the fact that it was actually 1 year ago today that Bayley officially made the heel turn to go up against Charlotte. I'm actually very surprised they didn't make more of a big deal of that it was really Charlotte that kind of, you know, was the one that, you know, finally the straw that broke the camel's back and turned Bayley heel, and now, you know, setting it up where a year later it's a rematch with the same result, Bayley going over Charlotte. The final piece of the puzzle tonight, of course, you know, they had Mr. Money in the Bank, Otis teaming with Mandy Rose in her fantastically awesome denim Daisy Duke outfit.
You might as well say Dukes of Hazzard.
Dukes, whatever. I hope those apples never get picked up. But they end up losing to the team of Dolph Ziggler and Sonya Deville. I'm glad they're finally doing something with Sonya. And you can tell they're not ready for the story to be done, but you know it's only a matter of time before the briefcase becomes involved.
That's right. Team Sonya, Team Mandy.
Who do you got? Team Mandy, Team Sonya? We'll put a poll out there. Let's see what you guys think.
We'll do that later.
But whose side are you on? It won't be the only poll coming out, so be keeping an eye on it here. And then the final news being done right at the very beginning of the show. Miz and Morrison running their mouth, as they tend to do, their dirt sheet, getting themselves in trouble once again. But it did help. Hey, look who joined us. Haley and Savannah in the crowd.
Hey, ladies.
And they already are screaming Team Sonya for the time being.
Good job. Just saying.
Our first vote. So make sure you officially put that in the poll. But they had Miz and Morrison, of course, you know, running their mouth as usual. But it ended up resulting a bit in their favor, as they actually are going to face Braun Strowman in a 2-on-1 handicap match for the Universal Championship at Backlash.
Let's kind of put it up on correction. Miz, yeah, he might have ran his mouth on the show. But who did most of the mouth running tonight? Mouthy Morrison.
It was Johnny Drip Drip.
It was I call him Mouthy Morrison. That's what he's known as right now, because all that mouth he had tonight.
Yeah, and poor the MCMIZ having to face the wrath of it. Damn it! that just had us in stitches, you know, like, damn it! But anyway, you know, but either way, you know, a credible threat because they have won the tag team titles before, you know, and with potentially some underhanded, again, handicap matches, you know, is this possibly a threat? And also where, you know, making it mention also today that, you know, hey, the Fiend, I'm not, you know, he's not going to be done with you yet. I just think that they're kind of pushing that off just a little bit, trying to push it away a little bit. So we'll be curious to see if Miz and Morrison can make themselves a credible threat to Braun.
But here's my thing. With the Monster Among Men, I like the fact that he's trying to be a fighting champion. I like it. Let's go back. He even
Another vote for Sonya, by the way.
Sweet. That I'm Team Sonya, just in case y'all hadn't noticed yet. But my thing is, he came out, interrupted their show, but that was because they were talking about him, and look how everything played out. I think, honestly, it's going to be great.
Apparently, we have a little one in the back. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there's a little one in the back who I think is ready for us to wrap things up. But we do have one more piece of business. We got through all of our shows. But one more piece of business that we do have, as we did mention, we made a promise to you guys back at episode 1 or 2, where when we hit 100 followers and we're able to maintain it into one of our shows, that we would debut our new cosplays that we were planning on wearing at WrestleMania. That obviously did not happen. You guys have held up your end of the bargain, and thank you guys so much for doing so. You know, I'm doing the Seth Rollins here, but, you know, it really does mean a ton, because this was something that we only began with a handful of followers, and to build it up from all the way to 100 this quickly is a very big deal to us. So, you know, we appreciate it, and we're going to uphold our end of the bargain, but we're going to leave it up to you guys. When does that happen? Do you want us? We're going to give you 2 options, another poll that's going to pop up here soon, before the evening's over or tomorrow. One or the other. Do you guys want us to debut our cosplays on an episode of either On The Ring Apron or on Top Rope Spoilers? Or do you want us to present our new cosplays in our own special, you know, just live showing of our new cosplays, where that's all it's about? So we're going to give you guys the option of making that decision as to whether it's, you know, its own special, or whether we do it on one of our shows in combination with it.
Oh, can I vote?
Well, I mean, our votes would just cancel each other out, so I don't think we're allowed to vote. But see, if you followed us...
I do follow. You know what? We're not going to even go there. I'm going to move on.
Well, we already have 1 vote for special show. Make sure that vote officially goes in the poll once we put it out, because that's where we're going to actually pull the answer from. But, you know, I have a feeling I think that's the way it's going to lean. But by all means, it's up to you guys. We're going to let you guys make the choice. You guys have held up your end of the bargain.
Yep.
We've got our stuff lined up, waiting on one piece, supposed to arrive tomorrow. And then we're going to be ready to go. It's just a matter of when do you guys want to see it. But either way, go ahead and finish up. I'm
actually excited about one of my pieces, because I know we've been trying to work on it. I'm not going to say what it is, but we have literally worked on it, for the last 6 months, and we have gotten it down. I'm so excited. I cannot wait for y'all to see it. That's all I'm going to say.
You guys are going to like it, and I guarantee you it's going to bring a lot of buzz and a lot of intrigue and a lot of questions for what Kia's got in store. So, you know, hey, you guys let us know what you want to see, and we'll go from here. We do have 2 votes, special show. Again, make sure, and hey, Haley and Savannah, if y'all are voting, make sure you use both of your votes. It can go twice as far. But either way, we appreciate you guys joining us here again on The Ring Apron. You know, we're here every Friday night. Again, Questions with the Queen tomorrow, 2 p.m. You know, we might have a little bit of early poll results when we get there, so make sure your votes get in. But again, we thank you guys. We appreciate everything you guys do for us, our fans, as always. And we continue to work hard for you guys, because you guys continue to ask us for it and continue to want to see it. So you guys have a great night. Wash your hands. Take care of yourselves.
Sanitize, stay in, wear your mask. If you got to go out, do the bare minimum.
That's it. And you guys take care of yourselves, and we will see you guys tomorrow for Questions with the Queen, 2 p.m. Eastern. Y'all have a good rest of your night. Yeah, I'll let you take us home.
All right, love you. Bye. Have a good night, everyone. And thank you for joining us.